there.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
How's it going, man? How you doing? I can hear you.
Good, man. All right. Yeah, life's good, man. Just finished up a little training and waiting to go eat. Take care of this first, right?
Right on. Yes, sir. Right on. Well, thanks for coming on with us, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah. No, thank you guys for having me on.
I don't think I've seen you, man, since Tracy Lee's birthday party in Vegas, maybe like a year and a half ago or so. So I know we had a good time that night, but what has been up since then? Like, give our listeners the whole lowdown on what's been going on with Scotty Jorgensen right now.
Been fighting, had a rough 2012. I'm back with a vengeance and gonna beat my friend up to stay on the winning streak. So, picked up a nice end of the year bonus in Seattle at UFC on Fox 5. Was supposed to be actually out in Hawaii when I found out about the Faber fight, and had to cancel that, a trip to Brazil. So now I got to beat up my friend for making me cancel vacation. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's something. When I first heard the fight being announced, I was like, man, that's crazy, because I know you and Uriah are pretty cool. You guys were both, Uriah was the form guy, right? But you were also a form guy, and I know how that whole relationship is. So tell me what it's like. I mean, you actually have to go in and fight somebody you're pretty close with in the game.
Well, Uriah and I go way beyond form, man. Like way back. Let's see, probably to like 2005, 2006 when he was coaching at UC Davis, and I was still wrestling at Boise State, and he was fighting and coaching, and he was doing it, and I was always a big fan of the UFC and loved watching the fights, and he's doing this, and he's talking to me, and he's telling me, I should try it out, I'd like it, I'd have fun, enjoy it, I'd do well, make a little money, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll check it out when I'm done wrestling, finish wrestling, and started goofing off as a hobby originally, and just taking fights. I fought it all the way up to 155, down to like all over, and then finally fought at 135 for the Elite XC promotion, and that all it took was one fight there. The WEC made an offer for a contract. We loved it, and Uriah hooked me up with my managers. And since then, we've been close. We've trained together. When I first started fighting, I was going out there training a lot with him and his guys, even to the point where a lot of people thought I was part of Team Alpha Male. But, we were just buddies and training together. And, we still share the same management. And, we were on form together. We've trained, we're just buddies. I know his family. He knows my family. We got a lot of the same friends that train together. And, it's as close as, he talks to my son a lot. If I'm with my son and he gives me a call or vice versa, he'll say what's up to my son. My son's a big fan of his. So, it's interesting. It's an interesting dynamic, but if you guys would quit talking about it and let us just handle it, it would a hell of a lot make things a lot easier on us. So.
I'm sure. So when the UFC gives you a call and says, hey, we have this fight lined up, we want to put you in against Uriah Faber at the tough finale, does that take a phone call between you and Uriah to agree to fight, or do you just say, yeah, right off the bat? I mean, how did that whole thing transpire?
Well, our manager called us, called me individually, and he's like, hey, this fight, they want your fight Uriah as a fill-in main event for Demetrius Johnson. And I was like, really? Because he and I always knew it was eventually going to happen. We always wanted it to be for, something big, and not, just being the main event and being able to go show the fans an exciting fight and being the kind of the stars of the show. We're going to go out there and have fun, and it is a big fight for both of us. Both being at the top of the division and not knowing what's going on with Dominic. And if Barao retains the title, who's in line next and all that fun stuff. So, it is a big fight, but at the end of the day, they called me. I said, I'll do it. Me. I've never picked an opponent. I never turned down a fight, and I've always said yes. So he did the same thing, and that was it. That was all she wrote. There was one text, though. Like, they told me Like Dana's got to okay it. Like they got to make sure this is a fight they want for the main event. So this may not happen. My manager told me so. I'm sitting there waiting, and finally I just like shot Uriah a text. I was like, "What's up, buddy?" And he called me back a little bit later. And he's like, "Dude, what's going on?" And we talked about it then, but by then we had already made the decision. So from then on, it was just like, let's go out there and fight. Let's beat each other up, make it dirty, ugly, brawl, fantastic fight that the fans are going to fall in love with.
That's a real interesting storyline, man. Have you ever fought another friend besides, you're getting ready to fight Uriah, but has there ever been a similar situation for you in your career?
Every day in practice, man. Every day in practice, and I don't care, practice is practice, but you're in there, and, I've been cut by buddies, I've been, choked, I've been punched as hard as they can hit me with, MMA training gloves, big 60-ounce sparring gloves, to prepare yourself for what we get ready to go in and do inside the octagon. You can't have guys take it easy on you. You got to have guys coming out there that are willing to try and push you, beat you, break you, to make you better. And so I've done it all of my MMA career, notwithstanding all the years of wrestling that I've had to actually wrestle off buddies for starting positions on my wrestling team, or in tournaments, for medals, and you just become used to it. We're wrestlers, we grew up not in the limelight. We grew up, grinding hard every single day just to win a gold medal every weekend, and earn a little bit of status in the wrestling community. And now that we have the opportunity to go out there and do this in front of millions of people worldwide, and make a little bit of money and make a name for ourselves, dude, I love it. And so whether it's my friend or somebody I hate, I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna do the same thing regardless. I'm gonna go in there to win and put on an exciting fight and put some action down inside the octagon.
Scott, let me ask you a question. Since we're on the topic of all this, that's actually been a subject that has been brought up a lot. Is teammates fighting teammates, and some guys are vehemently against it, and some guys say, "Well, hey, it's whatever. We do it every day. Why not do it for some money?" And then there's some guys that say, "Well, we'll only do it for a title." Like, where do you fall with these kind of things? Like, as far as like teammates and people you train with every day, and is there a line you don't cross, and or is it just a fight? It's just a sport. Like, what do you think? Like, what does your position fall on this?
Well, a fight's a fight, and it is a sport. But at the end of the day, this is what I chose to do for a living. Nobody ever, forced me into MMA. Not one person. If it was up to my parents when I first started this, they told me to stop. Like, go back to wrestling or go get a real job. And I had a real job before all this, and a ton of other things I could have done. But I chose to do this, man. I grinded through the hard times, and being broke and not not having much to my name, and I earned my spot where I'm at now, and I fought hard for it. And just because he's a friend doesn't mean I'm not going to keep trying to move forward. I wanted big fights since I got into the UFC, since I started making my name in the WEC. I've wanted big fights. It's just another big name fight for me, and it just happens he's a friend, but he and I, we're both competitors. And the way I put it, I tweeted it out the other day. Like, would I give my friend half my paycheck? Am I gonna let a buddy come in here and take part of my money just because we're buddies? Or will I you know what? I'm not gonna go into work because he needs it. I'm gonna step in there. This is my living. This is how I provide for my family. So it doesn't matter, to me. Because at the end of the night, our after party is going to be together. We're going to hang out. We're going to go in there and we're going to talk shit to each other and have fun. And, you hit me with this, and, that was good. And you did this, and, that's all after the fact. But right now, leading up to this fight, there's only one thing concerning me, and that's going in there and performing.
With that said, as you said, Uriah is a big name. He's also a fantastic fighter. He's put on some of the most exciting fights. He was a long-reigning champ at 145 pounds. Now he's been down at 135 for a little while. do you feel like you're fighting a better fighter at 135 than the guy that was champion at 145?
One thing I've learned in all my years of wrestling and MMA is you don't look at the past. You look at how they are now, or you look at what's going to happen, in the present. And, I don't care what Uriah's done in the past. I don't care what he did last week. I'm prepared for what he's going to do in the octagon April 13th. And that's the only thing I need to worry about. I don't need to worry about, he was the champ for so long at 145 pounds, and, then, he dropped down to 135, and he's fought for the title twice. I don't care about any of that. This is a fight. Every fight's individual. Otherwise, we wouldn't have the need for future fights, because everybody would go, well, he did this back then, and, he's beat so-and-so, and, to start doing that MMA math, and, why even have fights? And that's the beauty of this sport, is because anything can happen on any given night. So when we step in there on April 13th, there's going to be action. It's going to be fireworks, and the best man's going to come out with his hand raised. And, the only thing I'm prepared for is the Uriah I know, a fierce competitor, a hard-nosed guy that's full of tricks and, likes to have fun. And I'm the same way. So it's gonna be exciting for the fans,
Right on. All right, Scotty, let's digress a little bit and let's go after last year. What was it last year where you didn't win a fight in 2012? And
I did.
I want to know.
Don't take that from me.
Did you? Oh, my bad, man. My bad. Okay. Well, last year you said it yourself. It wasn't a good year last year. So help me walk me through that. What happened last year? Did you have to make changes? Was there something going on in your personal life? What was it?
Let's see. Started off the year with a loss to Barao, of a fight that I feel I was just a matter of defending a few leg kicks and being a little bit more aggressive with my hands, and I would have won. I still feel to this day I've given Barao the stiffest test that he has faced inside the octagon in his career, and I think he knows that. I landed, I think, more punches on him than anybody else has, or strikes, significant strikes. And if you go back and watch it, he won the fight. He did what he had to do to win. I did not, and so I'm not taking anything away. But I landed shots. If you go back and rewatch that, like I have, there's two different instances where his knees start to buckle after I land shots. I was just too concerned with playing this long striking game, which I can't do with guys like him. And, he won that fight, But I feel like the degree of separation was minor. And I think a lot, you look at his past fights in the UFC and it shows. So, I think a rematch with him, I'm going to come away a victor. But and then I fought Eddie Wineland. He got off in the first round in whenever we fought. I think it was like June, and but he got off the first round. He put his game plan down, but I slowly, and towards the end of the first round, got back into my rhythm. The second round, I was beating him up. I split him wide open. I feel I had turned the tides, and he caught me with a nice right hand and stunned me, and then finished me. Got the TKO win, and then I came back in December and put it on John Albert, got my submission victory, and walked out of the cage with a fight of the night and submission of the night. That was 2012 in a nutshell.
Yeah, yes, sir. The two losses last year. What do you learn from that, Scotty? That was the only time in your entire career that you lost two back to back. And I know we talk about the Barao interview. The Barao fight, that was really close. Wineland wasn't. That was more of a decisive loss for you. But what do you take away from that little stretch, and how do you improve going forward?
With both those fights, I just learned, I got to stick with the game plan. Because my problem, and it's been that for a long time, is you go out there and you start you entertain me into this idea of a brawl, and I forget about all these great tools I've had from the get-go, and I like to play with my striking. I'm a hard-nosed guy. I have no problem getting hit, and I like to hit back. So you start adding all that in there, and, the fact that I have a shorter reach than both Barao and Wineland, And, if you look at my last 3 losses in the last 3 years, it's been to Burrell, Wyman, and Cruz. And all 3 of them have significant reach advantages over me. So I tend to want to play games with guys that have physical advantages over me rather than, necessarily technique. But, I just learned to stay with what I like to do. Not worry about what so-and-so is going to do or what his favorite strike is and stuff like that. I try and put my game plan together to be offensive, shut them down, and make them have to react to me and worry more about what I'm going to do. And when I do that, I win. So,
Scotty, changing gears a little bit, the UFC has now an interim champion. Dominic Cruz never officially lost the belt, but because of inactivity, and Burrell is also now a interim champion. What are your thoughts on an interim belt, and at what point do you feel like, hey, Dominic's going to be out for a little while, how about we get rid of this interim thing and let the division move on? Do you feel like that's putting a stall on the division?
I don't think it's a stall at all, and I really don't even care personally, and I don't think most of the fighters in my division give a shit. The only 2 people that probably care are Dominic and Heyman. The only thing everybody else is just chasing the belt, just trying to get there. So until for me, until I win that belt, either from Dominic or Heyman, it doesn't matter to me. You can call him interim or current champ or last Tuesday's champ. It don't matter. But to me, it's Dominic's out. He can't fight. They put in Burrell in favor to fight for that interim. Burrell walked away. To me, he's right now, he's a champ until Dominic comes back and gets a fight. Until Dominic's ready to fight. And when Dominic's ready to fight, it's going to be against the interim champ. So, obviously it's going to unify it. So it doesn't really matter to me. Everything else is arbitrary.
You fought both guys as well. You fought both guys as well. How do you rate both of their styles? And when people talk about those 2 matching up, how do you see that matchup going?
They both those guys, it's hard to say, The one thing Haynen's very good at, and he showed, and one thing he actually even expanded on, though, is, Haynen's very good at maintaining his distance. All the Noble and Al guys can actually control their distance very well, and that's what made it a problem with me fighting him. But he also showed now, against his fight with McDonald, that he'll take you down, and he's got, he opened up a couple more threats, because now you can't just worry because he's going to throw his spinning back kicks and his long kicks and his punches. Now he might take you down. If he can't land effectively, he's going to take you down, and he's going to make you work. And so that kind of makes him a little bit even more dynamic. But he does really well at maintaining his distance. Dominic obviously can move in, out. He's got his awkward angles he moves in and out of. And his style is definitely, one that he decides when he's closing the distance or when he's going to keep his distance. And so that fight to me is very, very interesting. I'd like to see it happen because I think it is a contrast in styles. I think it would lead to a lot of action, but between Burrell trying to maintain his distance and Dominic trying to, dip, dive, and slip inside and then slip back out without getting hit, it changes things up for him. So I think it'd be a good fight, but it'd be a dynamic fight. It'd be weird.
Who do you give the edge to in that fight, Scotty?
You know what? I don't even know. I think, Dominic was a tougher fight for me because it was hard. He got me frustrated. He was hard to find, and the more frustrated you get with Dominic, and the harder you sit down and try and throw, the more you tell when you're going to throw your strikes or when you're going to do this or when you're going to do that. And Dominic got me frustrated. I tried to throw harder, one punch knockout punches, and he made me miss. But Burrell, I feel like I landed a lot easier. I was landing a little bit more effectively. So but at the same time, Burrell, he did enough to win. So it's hard to say. I don't think it's opinion. I hate opinion. I'd rather just can't wait to just we'll see them fight. Eventually we're going to see those two fight. We'll figure it all out for us. They'll settle it for everybody. So, that's all it is. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of okay, so he did this, so he's going to win. And, I've got my favorite fighters and, guys that I pull for when I watch. But I'm not going to sit and try and break down a fight. A fight's a fight. Anything can happen.
Okay, sounds good. Let's go back to the Uriah. Let's go back to the Uriah fight real quick. We're getting short on time here, but just a few more questions with you. Is that an advantage for you being so close to Uriah and having trained with him? Is that an advantage or a disadvantage?
It doesn't matter. The last time I trained with Uriah was 2 years ago, I think, because I think we both knew this day was coming. And, so we haven't trained, but we've been, we're still buddies, we still hang out and, talk, whatever. But, so in all reality, our training together and how close we are is not going to change anything. I think he's been to every one of my fights. I think I've been to every single one of his fights since we've both been in the WEC. And, the dynamic thing about both of us is, we're not stupid. We're intelligent athletes, and we're not going to go out there and count on, okay, well, he did this in training or he did this. We're going to go in there with a clean slate and both fight. And, he's got to do the same thing I got to do when it comes April 13th, and that's stand in there and deal with the person standing across from him.
Okay. Now, my last question for you, Scotty, and then we'll let you go. We're going to have to wrap this up. But a big part of the lead-up to a fight is the promotion of the fight. And a lot of fighters, there's a war of words. With you guys, you're both classy guys and obviously friends, so that's more than likely not going to happen. I don't see the friendship being compromised because you guys just have to fight and go to work one night. So how do you promote this fight? How do you get the fans interested in the Uriah Faber versus Scotty Jorgensen fight?
How often do you get to see two buddies that are willing to go stand inside of an octagon and beat the dog shit out of each other until they can't stand? And that's the beauty of this. You know what? You've never seen it, and we're willing to go in there and put our career, put our streaks or whatever you want to call it on the line, and we're going to go in there. We're going to punish each other. We're going to put on an exciting fight. And, there'll be banter back and forth. I sent him a tweet today, just, hi, see what he's up to. And I'm sure it'll pick up as we get closer to the fight. But, bottom line is he's going to go in there and try and beat his buddy up, same as I am. And we're both going to go out there, and we both got it in our mind to go out there. And, he knows I'm exciting. I know he's exciting. We're going to go in there and throw our hands around, and you're going to see this fight go everywhere from the feet to the ground to the cage, all with brutal intentions. And at the end of the night, you're going to watch two friends walk out of the octagon together and go have an after party with friends, family, all commingling and hanging out, and just like nothing happened. So, it's something that the fans, and not, it's something fans have never seen. But at the same time, we're both two of the top fighters in the bantamweight division. This does have a lot of big implications for both of us, and we've both got something to prove. It's like that buddy rivalry. Those two buddies that sit and play video games, play Madden all day together, and start talking smack as it gets game time. And you're gonna see that. You're gonna see that friendship rivalry come out where you don't want to be best by your best friend. You want to show them who's better, and I do it every day with Joe Warren. I have to show him who's better looking, better at everything. So, I'm going to do that with Joe, with Uriah on April 13th.
Amazing. Well, that's the perfect close to this interview, Scotty. We wish you the best of luck in your upcoming fight, and without a doubt, I will definitely see both you and Uriah at that after party. I will be there. So thank you very much for your time, man.
Yeah, everybody come out. Joe's mad that I said I'm better looking than him. Joe Warren's here with me right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's not very happy. I said I'm better looking than him as he's getting his Dapper Dan look on.
Uh-oh.
See, it's a thing with friends. We'll talk shit to each other all day and then go punch each other tomorrow. So,
right
thank
on.
you guys for having me.
All right, Scotty. Thanks for coming on, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, bye.
All right, later.
Bye.
There he is, Mr. Matthews. That was a pretty good interview, man.
Yeah, Scotty and Uriah is going to be a fucking awesome fight, man.
Yeah.
Those two. I mean, Scotty throws down. Uriah always throws down. This is going to be a fun fight. It's going to be a fun fight. I don't think there really is a bunch of build-up, because I think when people see the fight, they're just going to throw down. It's going to be one of those fights where they're going to be landing big shots and high-fiving each other in the middle of the cage. Oh, you just hit me with a fucking good straight right. You busted my nose. Oh, good shot. High five. It's going to be one of those fights. It's going to be fun.
I mean, they're both guys that you tune into every time they fight. So the fact that they're fighting each other, is definitely sure to deliver.
Either of those guys lay around. They always come to battle.
Yep. All right, brother man. We have completely filled up our 2-hour slot. I think we got about 10 seconds left before they cut us off. So everybody out there on bjpenn.com land, we will see you guys next week, same time, same place. George Matthews, thanks for being on with us tonight, as always.
Yeah. Everybody, I need training partners. Come down to Elite Edge Atlanta. I need bodies.
All right, man.
Next week.
Later.